So, Mrs. Riley, what was the overall goal that you wanted your students to be able to know and do by the end of this lesson?
Today I wanted the students to be able to divide numbers using whatever strategies worked best for them. I wanted them to be able to represent their thinking either through counters or an array or numbers so that they understood what was happening with the numbers.
And what multiple ways did you represent the content in this lesson?
It was important to model it, of course, with counters and with pictures. It was important to have some sort of chart that I used on the smartboard so the kids could see the relationship between the numbers, because for some kids that just led right to multiplication, which was the goal for some kids. It was also important to let them have access to all of those materials as they worked as well, so that they knew what to do. When I got to the vocabulary, they needed to see that many ways because that's new. Those are new terms for them. So I tried to use what was on the video as well as showing them the cards of the vocabulary words so that those can be posted in the classroom and they can look at them at a later date.
So, when you planned for the variability in the pre-planning lesson, did most of the students that you thought would use certain strategies, did you find that was fitting for them?
I think it was. I'm noticing now as I look back that quite a few of them are in that counter stage where they really need to physically divide the numbers up. But then I'm also noticing which ones are starting to use the skip counting and multiplication to figure them out. So I think those were well. I think watching some kind of do repeated subtraction, I was thinking how a number line or some way of counting forward and back on a straight line might be a tool I could use as well for some of the kids.
So, in a sense, you scaffolded your lesson by allowing them to use the manipulatives and to think of a number line to use and different things like that.
Right.
How were the students able to show you that they were achieving the goal today? In what ways did they show you?
With one of my groups, the group that I thought would pretty much have it with just the mini lesson, when they came to the group, their job was to, with their partner, explain their work and kind of compare answers and justify what they did. That was a great way for me to see where the gaps in understanding were. And in some cases, I needed to finish up with a group, whereas in other instances, I could tell that they had it. So in that group, it was them talking it out and me looking. The group that had the most difficulty with division, I could tell as I worked with them which students really still need it very much scaffolded for them, and then some in that group were able to figure it out by themselves. So it was a lot of observation today.
And you also read things aloud to like the group that you knew would struggle a little more?
Right. The first group I met with, I read the problem to them, whereas when the group that is beyond this range met me and we worked on a puzzle, they were to read it themselves and figure out the steps so that they are more independent with their thinking.
It was really evident that you took into consideration the variability even among your students within the groups.
Right.